Hi everyone, Keith Arkenberg Farms. Today I want to talk about some of the crops we grow, mainly one, and is it even worth growing them? Not necessarily because they don't sell, but the effort we have to actually put into getting the final product out. Sometimes it's more than it should be. It still might be profitable, but honestly, is it still worth doing if it's that much of a hassle? So let me show you. Now that one main crop for me that is most dreaded on my farm, it's this beautiful, thick, lush bed of carrots behind me. Now, I've nailed the germination process, as you can see. Nailed the weeding process as well. There's not a single thing in these. These are 3 rows, planted with an F24 at the 1/2 inch chain setting. I believe these are primarily Bolero variety, because this is my fall crop going into winter, so I want them to store really well. But that's not the problem. That's the good part. I can grow these things like crazy, no problem whatsoever. But for me, we have so strange type of soil here on the farm. It's referred to as a Schiltzberg loam silty clay. Loam silty clay. Yes, that's it. So basically, it's everything. We're kind of on a bluff, and then we got the river valley just to the north of us here. So we're up on kind of like a bluff where it's really flat. I mean, it's old traditional farmland. It's been farmed for years and years and years. But the biggest problem is, it's not that much of a problem underneath the tunnel, but out in the field, when this stuff gets hard, it turns into concrete. And you can see we've got a nice flat field out here. It has been flattened over time, and it was conventionally farmed for since this place was settled. So we're looking at about 150 years of farming history on this specific plot of land. Before I transitioned it over to a market garden using organic practices, CNG certification, certified naturally grown, go check that out. It was conventionally farmed, corn and soybeans. Like, you can kind of see it on the horizon. That's a cornfield. They just harvested it all off. There's usually also beans out there as well. But they did the same thing on this plot of land for years. So we had heavy tractors driving over this area continuously. It's kind of hard to tell, you really can't see it now, but because of the shape of this field, the tractors always followed the same path of harvesting. Even if they ripped at an angle out here or plowed at an angle, when they come in and harvest and plant, they always drive the same tracks. Because this field is only, I don't know, 600-700 foot across, they drive the exterior and then they zigzag back and forth north-south to do the harvesting. What that has done is actually put very compacted hard pans out here in the places where the tractor continuously drove over certain areas over and over again. Now, when I first started building this farm, the edge of the farm is where that greenhouse was. So the first run happened to be right here through what was my carrot bed with a little bit left, which I'll show you here in a second. So there is a hard pan right here coming down it. The rest of these, there's 2 of them that come across. Tractor wheel width, you hit one when I'm ripping, and then I'll hit the second one and push through it. I did kind of notice when I was actually prepping the seed bed, because I always run my deep rippers through before I plant carrots, because I don't want to run into that compaction problem, is that it didn't seem to want to go down here. And for my memories last year, carrot bed was right there, and we had the same exact problem. It's also been very, very dry, which is a lot of the problem as well. If it was got some rain, I could probably get them out. I didn't have as much problem down further. And I did have a previous carrot bed over here. That came up no problem whatsoever. I was actually able to pull them out. But with our carrots, we have to use digging spade to get them out. So this is the new one. This was my original, which is a very good old tool, but you can see what happened to it. Completely destroyed it. I've been using this thing for years. I actually attached a long handle to it, which makes it much easier to use. But that's where it comes into, is it worth growing the carrots if I got to spend this much time and effort to get them out of the ground? So in the past 2 days now, this is fork 1, which I think I can bend back and re-weld the tine on, which I'm going to because this is a really good fork. Here is fork 2. I actually returned that and got fork number 3. The reason I'm getting this specific fork is because it has the longer tines on it. Most of these spading forks, the tines are only about that long, but my carrots go down this far, so I need something longer to actually get them out of the ground. Now it's been very dry, and I'll show you the soil. So this is the problem. That goes in a little bit, that goes in a little, that does not go in at all. Neither does that. I mean, it's just rock solid. And in case you're wondering, I have very well irrigated out here before I started this. Problem is we haven't had a deep soaking rain. So the process of me actually getting carrots out, which is actually a spot where I broke my last fork out, involves standing on top of it and wiggling until I can get it down deep enough, and then slowly prying on it. And you can see where I've had the problem of breaking it because that thing is not going. And I don't want to break another one because I need to get the rest of these out of the ground. So I got to come over to the other side. Goes down about an inch or two. And then we start the process of putting weight on it, wiggling it in until we go down right about there. I'm about 6-8 inches down, below my tiller depth, by the way, and I start to hit that pan. Now it's popping because I've got the other side dug, but we got to get all the way down and then we pop. All that for 2 carrots. Well, I guess 3. So you can imagine how much time and energy is taking to get these carrots out of the ground. And because of that, we actually have to charge more for them because just simply the hours of labor involved in this. Try to get one up here where you can really see what's going on. You can actually see where they get into the hard pan. And carrots on my land, you just don't reach over and pull them out. I've got it broken up next to it. Ah, there it went. You can hear it pop and come out. Same thing there, I don't want to break it. So what I found, if I go over and only put 2 teeth into new ground and the other 2 teeth into the stuff I've already gotten into, I can kind of start to rip it bit by bit. And then sometimes it just peels the soil back. And what I'm left with is like a half exposed carrot, which I can't pull it up by the top or I'll pull the top right off of it. There's a broken one. There it goes. And I can yank them until they pop. I'll move you in closer and show you exactly what I'm seeing with these carrots. So here is the telltale sign that I'm hitting something down there in the soil. Carrot grew nice and straight, hit that compacted layer. You can kind of see how it looks different. It's almost like, I don't know, it's not round anymore. It's like it pushed its taproot through and then had a heck of a time pushing around it. Same thing there. You can actually see how the carrot's kind of flat. You see how the texture kind of changes a little bit there? To where it's not your nice smooth carrot texture. It's got more of like a, I don't know, kind of weird, awkwardy bumpiness to it. Same thing with here as well. You can just see how the tip, that's where it hit. So, I mean, I've got to be a good 8 inches of broad fork, or not broad fork, a pitchfork in the ground. Here's another good example. Went down, hit it, and then it pushed through. Yet another. We're fairly smooth up top here, like a normal carrot. But this part of it's all weird. So where the other problem is, sometimes when I do get them to pop out, this tip breaks off. Still marketable, but not as good as I'd like to see it. I mean, we always get some little stuff on our carrots and these little knobs on the edge, but other than that, it's really not that big of a problem. Now, if only I could figure out a way to get them out of here easier. And no, my tractor's too small to pull one of the bars underneath, the lifters, so there's no way I can do that. I've tried running these beds like this and putting my rippers on it and going down like the edge of the bed, just like that. And all it does is kind of tears the channel. It doesn't actually pop them out of the ground. So for me, it's getting to the point of, I can grow really nice looking carrots, but do I want to grow really nice looking carrots when it bogs me down every time I have to harvest these? Last season, 90-foot row, was taking about 8 hours to get out of the ground. About the same as potatoes, and we do get a lot of carrots out of the ground. I mean, these things are usually, with the germinations we're getting, they're like this. I'll turn around and show you a little bit right here at the end where you can really see how tightly packed where they're at. We did get a lot of washout when this bed was planted, so it's kind of was spotty at the top, but this whole area down here looked really nice. So when it comes time to actually harvest, you can see they're actually pushing their way up out of the ground. They're creating fissures in the soil as they sized up, and there's a nice pack in there. I mean, a bunch of carrots is only probably 7 or 8 inches across the bed. A little weed in there. So we get great yields, but that is not the problem I'm having. And again, you got to remember, you only have a limited amount of time on your farm. No matter if it's just you or you and employees, you have to get certain things done every week, and you can't have things bogging you down. And that's where it really makes me wonder is if it's worth it doing it in the field, especially after I broke 2 forks already. So you're looking at nowadays $50 per fork. So that's $100 worth of tools lost right there. Or should I keep them underneath the greenhouse to where I know they're going to get 0 compaction on them because I'll have no rain coming down? But that still doesn't solve the problem of the compaction underneath that they're growing into. Either way, if you know a really good spading fork, carrot digging fork, pitchfork that you can actually dig in hard ground to dig crops out of the ground, whether it be potatoes or carrots, let me know in the comments there. I'm really considering buying something better. I am going to repair this one back here, maybe reinforce it a little bit. I haven't quite determined that yet. It's a process. I got to get the welder out, and then I got to get material out, and it's a whole thing. So I'm not doing it right now. That's why I just went and bought another one, because I need to get these carrots out for market this Friday. The ones back there are a good couple weeks out. We probably have another, they might even be in there for another month before I harvest them. I don't know. So I got time to work on it. So let me know. Look in the comments. Also, check out the notes for this and all the videos I do. There's a bunch of cool links, discount codes in there, and also the Market Garden Farm Schools there as well. I'm shooting on that some more. Time and editing is what I've got to do now. We're a full production farm. I'm getting there, trust me, and I'm getting more and more complete with every week. So, as always, hope y'all liked what you saw today. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank y'all. Have a good day.